Well, hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It is great to be with you on Inspirations for Your Life. Thanks so much for joining me. It is September 11th, 2025. Normally, I would have a moment of silence. You can't have dead air on a podcast or a radio show or TV show, but know that I am basically thinking about all those people that have lost their lives, their families, and their friends right now as 9/11. How many years was 9/11? Well, 9/11 happened on September 11, 2001. It's 24 years since the attack. And again, my heart and prayers go out to all the people's families that have lost their lives. Also, a special out there to Charlie, who recently lost his life. A very big shout out to his family for everything he's done. Unfortunately, what happened the other day was not really right. But again, a big shout out to Charlie Kirk's family, a 31-year-old conservative activist and head of Turning Point USA. Again, I'm not political one way or another, but no way should anyone's life be taken out, regardless of a viewpoint or not. All right, so I do want to thank you for joining me. Our master topic for the week, guys, is a really, really good master topic in case you guys didn't catch it. It's the mind shifts that change everything, okay? And that's really important, guys. By the way, if you're thirsty, I don't want you to be parched. Feel free to go get yourself some RO water like I have here. Feel free to get some water. Feel free to get yourself a snack, fruit, whatever you like, sweet or tart. That's totally up to you. Don't forget to check out believemeachieve.com, ladies and gentlemen, for more of my amazing, of course, inspiring creations, which you can do at believemeachieve.com after the show is over, that is. Okay, everyone? So our granular topic for today or this evening, September 11th, is what I think that really drives a point home, and that is plan before acting. Series 4, Show 37, episode number 6. So let's kick this show off, everyone. Again, welcome, whether you're here the first time or whether you're coming back many times. I definitely want to welcome you here. All right, everyone. So definitely a very, very big welcome. And so, as I said, welcome to Inspirations for Your Life, where thoughtful planning sets the stage for real achievement. Oh, who am I? I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I'm an engineer, marketing specialist, a video producer, podcast host, podcast coach, and, of course, a passionate lifelong learner. This episode is all about one powerful truth. When you plan before acting, you transform wishes into wins. Here's what that means point by point. A plan turns dreams into action. Every powerful change, begins as a dream, but it's the careful act of planning that gives those dreams direction and life. Whether you're building a business, launching a project, or improving yourself, planning provides the firm steps that turn imagination into accomplishment. Preparation prevents wasted effort, guys. When you invest time up front to prepare, you draw a map that avoids detours and dead ends. So preparation streamlines your path and minimizes obstacles, saving you from, repeating tasks or squandering resources along the way. And I think sometimes people get caught up with, doing something, but then they do it anyway because their friends are doing it or something else like that, right? But it might not necessarily be the right thing to do. Our next point, think it through. Before you dive in, pausing to think critically about your next move prevents reckless decisions and regret. Maybe there's a feeling you have or something that you want to say to somebody, but if you just take a deep breath and maybe count to 10, you might realize that, I don't think I really should say that. And then those are important things, guys. So before you, let's say, jump, take time to foresee challenges, anticipate the needs, and explore alternate routes. You'll arrive at better results with fewer surprises. And I think a lot of people, well, they push that impulsive button, right? The button that says, we have to do everything now. And if we don't do it this way, well, then that's going to be a big problem for us. But I want to tell you that impulsiveness kills things. It really, really does. I mean, I just want to be honest with you about that. Quick moves, guys, without a map cost more acting fast, feeling productive, but without direction. It usually means a missed set of details and lost opportunity. So a good map, that is your plan, ensures that speed doesn't become, well, your undoing, because you know every step and why you're taking it. Our next point, strategy, ladies and gentlemen. Strategy, strategy, strategy. It beats spur of the moment, right? The spontaneous things, right? Lasting success is rarely accidental. While quick improvisations have a place, strategic plans shape outcomes. They keep you focused under pressure and lead to reliable results you can build upon. I think a lot of people, they just want to do whatever, but they don't realize how that can, in fact, impact somebody, either positively or negatively, whether that be yourself or whether that be someone else. So I think if we could just sit back and say, wait a minute, did I really mean to say this? Do I really want to say this? Or am I just acting because of my frustration? Am I acting because of my disappointment? Right? We've all had these situations, buyer's remorse, etc. But when you sit back and you say, wait a minute, you know what? I don't really mean to say that, or I don't really mean to do that. I'm just a little bit upset, or some people might be angry, but there's no reason in getting angry, right? Don't sweat the small stuff, because life is all small, small stuff. Planning, guys. Planning today means fewer regrets tomorrow. Fewer regrets. I didn't say zero regrets. I said fewer regrets. I think when we can curtail a regret into something else, that's very, very powerful, guys. I mean, extremely, extremely powerful. But you might be saying, John, like, how is this possible? And I'll tell you the way it's possible. Because when we look at something a certain way and we think about the perspective and we see how something is shaped or how something is formed, we immediately decide to react. But this is why it's important to sit back and not react impulsively. All right, I think those are important things. Thoughtful planning, guys, isn't about being slow. It's about future-proofing every choice. Do you do that? Do you think before you act? Do you future-proof things? Or do you just kind of just play 52 card pickup? You take the cards, and you just kind of like just let them go, and then it's like, oh, 52 card pickup. Yeah, I remember a friend of mine many years ago saying, John, you ever play 52 pickup? And I'm like, no, what's that? He's like, oh, let me show you. Takes the cards and he does the whole desk. I said, Oh, we got 52 cards in the ground. Now you got to go pick them up. Instead of just telling me, hey, John, it's when somebody that was like a bad way to do that, if you ask me. But, you know, it's one of those things, right? You live and learn. So by thinking ahead, you actually minimize moments you'll wish you could redo and maximize the satisfaction you feel with every step taken. So once somebody once told me this, leaves the lips, right? They can't be taken back. You can ask for apologies and things like that. You can beg to apologize. But once something leaves your lips, that impression is made. And that regret, the remorse you're feeling, it's not going to be easy to overcome that. You can't just stuff that back in a bag. The impression that people get from you over that is going to come out. There's not much you can do about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage you this. Don't rush. Come up with your vision. Then move. And rushing ahead without a clear destination will only lead to frustration. A lot of people say, you just need to get going. I hear you. And I understand that's motivating, but in the same breath, it's not. If I tell you to just get going and you don't know which direction or what to do, you're like going to be lost, right? If you're suddenly on a path to, let's say, get to a restaurant, for example, and I tell you, get going, but you don't even think about where you're going. You just go this way, and that way is the wrong way. It's the opposite way. So you got to think before you act. You got to think before you execute. You got to think before you do. Now, I know a lot of people say, John, we don't have time to think before we do. Yes, you do have time to think. It's the ones that act in haste that will have regret. When you craft a clear vision first and then choose to act, every move feels driven by a purpose rather than by a pressure of urgency. I think there's a lot of times when we hear urgency, right? There's urgency sometimes put in sales, and I think that's a bad thing when people do that. There's urgency put, maybe it's a relationship thing, and there's an urgency put on that. Maybe there's an urgency when somebody asks you to volunteer. There's these urgencies, but the truth of the matter is they're really just underpinning you. They are manipulating you in a very creative package, one that you probably didn't anticipate. But now that you know how it works, you're probably going to be a little more, let's say, wise the next time. Action, guys, without direction leads nowhere fast, right? Go somewhere. Which way? I don't know. Which way am I supposed to go? Working hard counts, but working smart counts more. Let me say that again. Working hard counts, but working smart counts much more. When your effort aligns with your true core purpose, that progress will speed up like that. Without direction, all your energy can leave you spinning in place, and you'll be like, what am I supposed to do? Like, where do I go? And this is when we get that conundrum of frustration, of sometimes feeling overwhelmed. The overwhelming feeling happens to us because we're like, well, what do I do first? Like, I have my list, or I don't even have a list. Like, what do I do? Like, where do I go? Where do I start? Right? We've had those moments. And we have to regroup, and we have to think about how we're going to proceed. I think those are important things to understand. Smart plans, guys, create smart outcomes. Smart plans create smart outcomes. Smart plans create smart outcomes. Smart plans create smart outcomes. Interesting, right? Interesting, guys, right? Very interesting. We have to think about it. I think sometimes we just get caught off guard. And by getting caught off guard, it's like we don't know what to do next, right? We don't know what to do. And by not knowing what to do, it's like we don't have a direction. We don't have a purpose. And all this can just kind of like come down on us at one moment. Smart plans create smart outcomes. So, what is a smart plan? Great question. A smart plan is one in which we put some thought into it, some logic into it. We've figured out what we need to do. We've also thought about if this doesn't work, what do we do instead? What's our plan B? What's even our plan C if we've gotten that far? Smart plans create smart outcomes. I'm going to give you an example. If you have not taken the opportunity to create an evacuation plan at your home, I encourage you to do this right now. Well, after the show, that is, or at least by tomorrow. So, how to create a fire, let's call it a fire safety evacuation plan. It's not hard, guys. To do it, you basically have to map out 2 escape routes from every room, identify a safe outdoor meeting place, and practice your plan regularly with everyone in the household. How do you do it? You draw a floor plan. You map 2 ways out. You choose an assembly point where everyone's going to come together. You account for vulnerable individuals. Plan for anyone who may need additional assistance, elderly people, etc., or those under special care. Check your smoke alarms and the exits. Make sure your smoke detectors are in working order and that all escape routes are clear of obstacles and furniture. Ensure windows and doors open easily and have working latches. This is a good thing to do at least every quarter. Practice the plan. Have a backup plan if something deters you from the way you want to get out. Keep your plan visible. Make sure not only does your household know, but any guests that happen to visit you, that they know the safe way out. It's a great thing to do. When you go to visit a hotel, right, they have that smart plan right on the door. You hope you're never going to use it, but if you spend a minute or two, you want to know how to get out, right? It makes sense. So success isn't just harder work. It's a better design. I think many people think that they've got to work hard to be successful. No, you've got to work smarter to be successful. But a lot of people don't understand that. We were taught from generations in the past that you got to work hard. You got to be a busy bee. You've got to keep working feverishly, right? Or feverishly. And if you're taking a break, well, then you shouldn't be taking a break. You should be working nine to 5 or 24 hours a day. No, that's the wrong teaching. Planning with your head and your heart ensures that the work you put in leads to outcomes that match your true ambitions. That's important, guys. I mean, really, really important. Pause and maybe plot before you leap. Even just a moment's pause to plot your next step brings clarity. We talked about the importance of the fire plan, right? If you go to a hotel, you hopefully will review their evacuation plan. I remember going to, I think it was Kansas City. Kansas City has basically a what do they call that? It has a brief um, demo to explain to everyone what a fallout shelter is. Yeah, so I remember staying there, and I remember them telling me that I needed to go to this brief little seminar. It was like maybe 20 or 30 minutes. And I didn't have a chance. I just checked in. They said, well, you can go tomorrow. It's fine. So the next day came, and you had to attend it before you went to sleep the next day. So I came in from a client that I was at. Came in. They said, oh, we're doing a seminar. It's starting in just 5 minutes. You can go in right now. So I went in, and they went over all the things about the elevators, how elevators would be put out of use, what a fallout shelter is, and how do you stay safe? So that's a good question. Is what is a fallout shelter? In like a tornado. That's probably a good one to explain, right? A fallout shelter in tornado is a confusing phrase. It shelters protects against they call it nuclear events, while tornado shelters protect against high winds and debris. They sometimes call it a fallout shelter, but really that's not what this is. Fallout shelters are just nuclear, but tornado shelters protect against high winds and debris. But a well-built underground shelter designed for nuclear fallout could offer protection in a tornado as well, though it wouldn't be as well put together for its primary design purpose. Many underground storm or safe rooms are also equipped with NBC filtration for modern nuclear biological protection, creating a versatile disaster shelter. So you might be asking, and it's a very, very good question, what is NBC filtering? It stands for nuclear biological chemical filtering, referring to air filtration systems designed to remove dangerous contaminants like radioactive particles, biological agents, and chemical warfare agents from the air. That's NBC. It's not network broadcasting channel. It's nuclear biological chemical filtering. And these systems typically combine a HEPA filter for solid particles and activated carbon for gas vapors, creating an overpressurized environment in the protected space to prevent contaminated air from entering. So, pretty interesting, right? But again, systems like this don't just work by magic. You have to do some planning. So, the little gaps we talk about between impulse and action is where mistakes are often caught and breakthroughs are born. We don't always learn the right way to do something until we've done it the wrong way or until we've had a chance to brainstorm about it. Success loves a solid blueprint. No great building stands without a blueprint. No great building. The same, guys, is true for any success. Big wins are born from small details mapped out ahead of time. Guys, blueprint your journey and watch solid results appear before your eyes. A lot of people say, you know what, John, I'm just going to wing it. A lot of people still do that. And winging it rarely wins. Planning wins big time. Sometimes you have to improvise, but the big victories, they go to those who map their path. Careful planning brings consistency, growth, and confidence to every pursuit. I think a lot of people don't want to plan because, like, oh, I don't need to do that. I know how to do that. It's very easy to get out of the building. Okay, but have you done it? No, but I know how to do it. Maybe the door is stuck. Maybe there's something else you didn't think of. But you wouldn't know it unless you practiced it. Guys, great ideas need the fuel of structure. Ideas alone don't change the world. Action rooted in structure does. So that means we need to be planning if we want to be successful. Planning gives creative sparks the fuel and stability they need to become lasting results to make positive improvements. You know, I once learned from somebody when we talk about planning, when you don't plan, okay? When you have failed to plan, then you have planned to fail. Let me say that again. When you have failed to plan, you plan to fail. When you failed to plan, you have um, you basically um, planned to fail. Map the goal, guys, before chasing it. A clear destination transforms effort into results. Knowing your end goal lights the path, measures your progress, and keeps your motivation alive high, even when, well, you may stumble. Planning saves time and trouble later, and few things pay for themselves as richly as planning does. Small investments in planning now sidestep huge problems and frustrations later, turning time into your greatest ally. Every champion starts with a plan. Winners in every field, sports, business, art, it didn't get there by chance, guys. Their secret was simple. They planned the work. They worked the plan and adjusted as needed along the way. Measure twice, guys, and act once. Taking the time to double check your effort pays off. My grandfather always said, measure once, measure twice, cut once. Careful attention before acting avoids costly errors, giving you a reputation for excellence and dependability. Now, wouldn't you want to be seen as dependable? Plans are the seeds of progress. Planting a plan is the first step toward growth. Just as the seed becomes a tree, every meaningful outcome has roots in the planning that came before it. Intentional action creates lasting impact. Acting with intent ensures your results don't just solve today's problems, they set you and others, well, up for success. Purpose and preparation make your actions matter for years to come. The best results come from a prepared mind. Great performers, no matter the field, excel because they are always ready. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this show and do check out believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, of course, inspiring creations. And remember, always plan because if you don't, you've actually planned to fail. Have a great one, everyone.